Welcome on SIAL TV. I'm Jenny Barron and very happy to show you this amazing exhibition today. Today we're talking about pulses, and the many benefits of pulses are in accordance with the precepts of sustainable development. Indeed, they have a nitrogen-fixing properties, a high nutritional value, and they are available all around the world. They are very good candidates for the future, especially because in 2050, the worldwide population is going to triple and we are going to be 9.7 billion inhabitants on Earth. With me today, the best three experts to talk about pulses. Starting with the only woman here, Jenny Chandler. Welcome. How are you doing?
Very excited to be sharing my passion for pulses with everybody here.
And you are a Pulses ambassador worldwide. You're also a blogger, and you have this amazing book that I want us to talk about at the end of this show. Also with us, Hussein Arslan, President Global Pulse Confederation. Sorry, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, thank you.
And the only French around this table, Le Boucher Vert, Lionel Ravoux, Commercial Director of Le Boucher Vert. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, thank you. I'm very happy.
Just so you know, Lionel is supposed to see the president today. François Hollande is coming on your stand to congratulate you, so you might not be staying with us the entire TV show. But starting with the pulses, it doesn't sound really sexy, and that is that sexy. Why are the pulses the ingredient of the future, Mr. Arslan?
Yeah, when United Nations, we work with United Nations to declare International Year 2016 as Year of Pulse. And we had to find something to say, a motto. And North American friends told us that best things is to say, this is future of food. I said, my friend, it is maybe your future, but this is our past too. Since 30,000 years in the caves, we all 30,000 years old seeds in the caves. So in the region, especially in Mediterranean and Middle East, where we call Fertile Crescent, we are finding this, and this is going back. Maybe we found in Egypt we found around 45,000-year-old seeds. So this is the past too. So why it is so important? This is the basic protein source from the vegetable. Protein level is high. Like in bean, it goes up to 30% protein.
And
if you compare in meat, it is like 45%. So meat is higher, but when you think of the price and the ecological side, and when you think all other items,
yes,
it's the future of the food.
Yeah, definitely. It's very interesting what you just said, actually, Mr. Arslan. Jenny, I'm just looking at you right now. It's like we have to rethink nutritional point of view from the past also, because we had so many richness, you know?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't realize what pulses can offer. There's obviously the protein, and then also really high in vitamins, particularly the B vitamins, in minerals, potassium, zinc, calcium, iron. And then for me, right now in the world, we have 800 million people suffering from chronic hunger. We've also got over 500 million obese people. So for me, one of the other really interesting things about pulses is the fact that they have these complex carbohydrates, all this fiber. So when you eat them, you feel satiated, you feel full, they're satisfying, they're delicious things to eat. But also, you know, a few hours afterwards, you've got this slow release energy, which is meaning that you're not going to be picking and snacking, eating sort of fast food, sugary snacks, fatty things. It's going to keep you energized for longer.
So if you think about it, it's supposed to be like cheaper, better all over the world, because everybody could actually eat, then better for your health in nutritional way of thinking, and then better than you wouldn't have to snack, you wouldn't have to pick up some sugary things or
no, I really think that pulses actually tick so many boxes. It's this whole thing of being able to maybe control diabetes or help to prevent diabetes because you've got this low glycemic index, so you don't have these huge spikes and dips in blood sugar levels. So, as a consumer, as somebody who is talking about eating them, I mean, they're just fantastic things. And then from a cook and a food writer's point of view, I always have to keep adding that they're really delicious to eat as well.
And talking about cooking and stuff, we have Le Boucher Vert with us. So Le Boucher Vert, this is what you are doing right now. I'm showing to the camera. It's a good alternative to meat, we can say. It's like a steak, but
Yes.
it's not the usual steak. So can you explain us a little bit what gave you like the envy of doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah, okay. First, let me tell you, I completely agreed with my colleague. Pulses are part of the past, but it's also the future for food because you have, it is a protein source, which is important, and you also have fiber. So the philosophy of the company is to reduce the need for meat, and by providing an alternative to meat product. And this is a fancy way of consuming pulses, brand new way and fancy way. We tried to innovate with good recipes, well, tasty recipes. And we propose pulses, various pulses, chickpeas, and flageolet beans, lentils, in three innovative ways.
But also, Mr. Arslan, I do have a question for you. How about pulses and also sustainability? Because this is also what we are talking about today at the SIAL, sustainability.
Sustainability, yes. Sustainable agriculture is one of the important things. Means we have to keep producing, and we have to produce more with the new varieties of the seeds. So how pulse comes into effect in this one is that when the farmers, when they are planting, they have to make rotation. They cannot plant every year wheat. Same field, they have to plant something else. And the experience shows that if you rotate with pulses, the next crops makes better. So
How can you explain it?
The main reason for this, the pulses is taking the nitrogen from the air to the roots and the nodes and keep it in the soil. So what is the benefit of nitrogen? The fertilizer. The farmers that's spending money for fertilizer, they are buying fertilizer. When they use pulse in a rotation as often as possible, then with this nitrogen fixing, they will have less need of fertilizer in their field. So what it means again, less fertilizer, not only less cost, but also less carbon print. Because the carbon emission of the world is more, especially due to the fertilizer production of the world. We need it, but we have to use it less. When you use it less, naturally, you are balancing the soil. Like you need fiber, you need iron, you need protein. So soil needs also nitrogen. So with this one, this is one of the important part of the sustainable agriculture. So rotation, without rotation of pulses, fields will not be efficient. Fields will be in, let's say, in 10 years, 15 years, it will not be possible to have efficient production for the farmers.
Yeah, I totally understand. Jenny Chandler, it seems like right now in the society, what we see from what we did to the planet, now we want to return back in the days when things were easier, when you could actually plant things, recult it, eat it, be maybe healthier. Do you think that right now, less is best?
I definitely think that less meat, less fish is best. I also think that a lot of people are returning to wanting to know about food provenance and not wanting to eat highly processed food. I think the kind of food that we've got here from Le Boucher Vert, where you actually see what you've got, there aren't all sorts of hidden ingredients that you don't understand. I think that we have a massive rise of vegans and vegetarians in the world right now.
And how can you explain that, Jenny?
I think a lot of people are thinking about animal welfare, they're thinking about health, and they're also thinking about the planet. But then you've also got a massive rise of what are now being called flexitarians, which are really people who are going back to eating the way that we were all eating hundreds of years ago.
And we should explain a little bit, just a tiny bit, Jenny, what is a flexitarian? Because we talked about it before this TV show, but it's not that easy. You know, you have vegan people, you have normal people, and then you have flexitarian.
Well, flexitarian, it's one of those kind of new phrases that somebody's dug up, really, to refer to what is really, as you were saying, the Mediterranean diet. It's that whole idea of eating a little bit of fish, a little bit of meat, not necessarily on being on a specialist vegan or vegetarian or elimination diet, but eating a little bit of everything. But just looking at meat and fish as things that you eat as not even necessarily a treat. They don't have to be the spotlight of your dish, but they may flavor it. But it's just trying to encourage people to eat pulses without feeling they've got to make a life change decision. They're just really going back to eating how people have been eating around the Mediterranean, and actually not even just the Mediterranean, Northern Europe. We all used to eat our peas and beans until the arrival of potatoes and all these other things. So it's just people going back to eating as we used to in times gone by.
Like my mom, when she was making the bean, she wouldn't put meat, just she would put a bone and cook it, the bean, and it was really delicious.
It was delicious. You
so
remember
this is the part of the flexitarian diet. They now trend is coming. Very few people heard about it. But before this meeting, as we talked, this is actually Mediterranean diet. When you get richer people, they put more fancy like meat, fish into their pot.
Because
I think it should be balanced. Like everything goes with the balance. Let's take an example. When you use, in our last works proves that, when you use grain with pulses, let's say when you make the rice, if you add some pulses, protein digestibility score, now we are introducing into the world, that protein digestibility score is increasing when you use pulses with, let's say, rice or with the bulgur, cracked wheat. It increases the protein digestibility. So this is the balance. So I think we should go more with balance and to use pulses with grains and to use pulses with our options, like even with the meat. Like yesterday, I had the meat with pulses in the...
And you loved it. We can see it in your eyes. It was a good remember for you. Good
because
memory.
I am the president of Global Pulse Confederation, it's kind of my duty. If I see pulses, I say, I want that.
No,
But it is a good thing that now, in the past, when I was traveling, I wouldn't have any pulses in the menu. Now I see more and more. And thank you to Jenny and like people like her, they are introducing to people so many of dishes and options.
And we are going to talk about it in a few minutes, Jenny, about the dishes with the pulses to help people to understand how to cook them. But talking about cooking, we still have Lionel Vandou from Le Boucher Vert. Lionel, was it for you like very important to just limit it, the amount of ingredient that you did put on that?
Yes, that's the idea with the product. We want to offer a natural and healthy product. That's the reason why we designed these 3 recipes, and also we don't process too much the goods because we want to the people to identify clearly what they are eating, because you have often very processed products. And the people don't know what they are eating, so that's a problem for us. We prefer that the customer can identify clearly what he's eating at the moment.
But do you think it's a very European point of view? Do you think, and to be quite frank, do you think it's a very French point of view to just identify everything that's inside a product, or do you think it's a worldwide question right now?
I think it's a global trend. People want to eat healthy products, and that's the philosophy we have in the company, because we want to provide good and healthy products, but also tasty. So that's the main point for us.
Mr. Arslan, you want to say something about it?
Yeah, I mean, healthy, when you see in the menu healthy, most of the time you say, oh my God, it is not delicious. But I guarantee you, with the pulses, healthy and delicious.
You you all about delicious, huh? You told us, huh? You still remember
agree.
yesterday, it was delicious with the pulses, but you're right to say that because pulses, they're not that boring, you know, Jenny
No,
Chandler.
I think that label of healthy often makes people think something is rather worthy and they're missing out. And I think that's one of the things that we really need to do about getting people thinking about dishes like, you know, dal from India, which as soon as you put some fantastic spices on the top, it's one of those things which is better than the sum of its parts. You know, you've got just some lentils, some water, maybe a little bit of garlic or ginger. You cook it, and then you just put some wonderful spices, maybe with a
It's
bit of
all about
oil or
spices.
ghee. And it's fantastic, and it's healthy, and it also is so affordable. You know, we have a problem now where there are many people who are malnourished because they're buying really cheap rubbish, basically. And we need to somehow get the food producers, the educators, the cooks, the consumers, all realizing that actually pulses offer you something incredibly easy and affordable. It's not all about having to do really, really tricky things. And then I think it's important that we do have food producers who are creating wonderful things with pulses so that those people who don't go home and cook actually have the option to eat something healthy. You know, I do keep saying to people, you don't have to soak your beans for hours and hours. You can always open a can if you don't have time. You know, there are so many options. And as you were saying earlier about long life, you know, basically they're not ingredients that are going off in your vegetable drawer. There's something which you can have in your cupboard waiting for you to get home. And, you know, they're non-perishable. They're just incredible things.
Jenny, honestly, and to be totally quite frank with you, when I hear you, I want to be eating pulses. But then when I'm home, I'm like, I only have pulses. What am I going to eat? You know, and you're right, and this is delicious. I would like to show your book. It is called Pulses, Jenny Chandler. And when you see and when you read your book, I can tell everybody you just want to eat them because it seems delicious, it seems amazing, and you also did put like the pictures that go with it, you know? You always have the good pictures. Was it really important for you to show the people that, yes, we could have fun, we could have delicious food, even with the pulses? Even with the beans.
Well, yes, I don't think it's not a question of glamorizing them because actually
Yes.
so many of these dishes are things which have been cooked for centuries. It's just reminding people and also showing that you can do modern, innovative things as well. So it's just trying to capture people's imagination rather than saying this is something you ought to be eating because you're always going to switch people off. It's saying to people, come on, you know, rediscover this and realize this is something actually which is absolutely fabulous to eat. And then there are all these other bonuses of the health side and then the amazing sustainability benefits.
And I want to tell you something. Then I read your book, and then I'm crazy about it. I always want to be cooking from your book because it's easy. That's the thing. Right now on the society, we don't have a lot of time to cook. Honestly, we go to work, we have the kids and all that. We never have enough time to cook. But now, with your book, and thank you so much for that, Jenny, we can cook like in an easy way and in a very fast way. So it was very interesting to discover it.
Well, I just think that you could open a can of chickpeas, cook them up with a little bit of garlic and chili and a little bit of mint. You add a little bit of stock to it, and you've got a soup, and it's taken you 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, they're not difficult things to cook. That's what I really think we need to get across.
Yeah, I agree with Jenny.
Mr.
I mean,
Aslan.
yeah, the thing is that we are sparing so many times for so many things. Can't we spare for delicious and healthy food half an hour in our home?
Yeah,
This is only 30 minutes story.
yeah.
It's not difficult.
No,
only
it's not
30
that
minutes.
difficult.
Yeah.
But we have to be re-educated about it. And that is why I'm very happy that you guys were here today. Thank you so much. I'm going to end up this show with you, Le Boucher Vert. Thank you for doing that. You know what? That's very interesting because it's also very quick, very fast, and it's pretty healthy.
Yes, it's healthy, and it's only 10 minutes to 15 minutes to prepare it, so it's very quick.
And then you know exactly what you eat. You have wheat, you have pulses, you have like spice, and that's it.
Yes, exactly.
That's pretty good. Thank you so much,
Maybe
Mr.
I should add
Aslan.
one thing.
Tell me.
Yeah, everybody should know. We should produce next 40 years foods that we produced last 10,000 years. So what we produce 10,000 years, we have to produce next 40 years. So everybody should be careful. We have to go with sustainable agriculture, and we should do carefully these things, and we shouldn't throw away the foods that prepared. In all the world, 1/3 of the food prepared is in the garbage, either in developing world, in production side, and in also processing side. In developed world, it's on the table lost, 1/3. So we have to be
And it's
taking
a
care of
lot,
it.
and
Yeah.
we have to open our eyes. Thank you so much, the three of you, Jenny Chandler,
you.
Hussein Arslan, and Lionel Havou for being with us today. Stay tuned, of course, on SIAL TV. Right now, you know that you can eat well and in a very delicious way.